to use the body worn camera is the traffic police. After all, after that, the usage of this body worn camera is spreading to the public security department, and I mean the police in China, and then it is spread all of the law enforcement agencies in China right now. So in our Chinese market alone, it has more than 1 million pieces of BWC delivery in just 1 year. So actually, it's developing like 50% yearly increasement of the BWC delivery in China right now. So this is a huge market. And also we know that there are lots of adoptions of this BWC in the other countries, like in the South Asia country, like in the Middle East country, and also in South Africa. And it has all of the news about the BWC to be adopted by the police. And when they use these things, it can have lots of benefits, as we mentioned, about the transparency, about the accountability of the police, and it can decrease about the discourse. Okay, so this is a market developing very fast. And then we can share with you some of the visions of the BWC products that we Hytera is thinking about. So for us, we think it's like 3 generations for the BWC technology evolution. So the first generation is come from the 2007. Since then, it has the main characteristic or features is to recording facts, right? So you need to have a very good FOV, which is the field of view, and you need to have the storage. You need to have a very good battery for the continuous recording. So in this time, it's more stressed on the recording things, okay, about the storage, but it doesn't mention anything about the instant communication. I mean, it's about dispatching. It's not for the first generation. In the second generation, we are more focused on to improve the situation awareness with the backend center. For example, we need to have the visualized dispatching, and we need to have the push to talk. We need to have the positioning tracing, and also the emergency alarm. Because at this time, the 4G network has been already available and massively deployed all across the world. So in this time, we are more stressed on the instant communication and also the situation awareness of the police officer, between the police officer and the command center. Okay, and now we think we are on the 3rd generation of the BWC, because more and more interesting applications has been already deployed in the field. For example, the face recognition and the automatically alarm for the instant notification of the blacklist, because it's later on we will have more slides to explain how we to do that. And also we can have the plate number recognition, and at the same time we will combine this with the big data and AI power behind to offer all kinds of AI possibility solutions. Okay, so this is what we Hytera some understanding of the evolution of the BWC. And then we are going to talk about what our BWC solution is focused about. So in our understanding, the BWC is kind of recording system. So it's to help our officers to handle the emergency management situation. So this is according to our terminology or our knowledge base, because the emergency is divided into 4 steps. So the first step is to prevent, right? The prevent, it means that a lot of applications like the AI applications we mentioned before. The second step is about the mitigation. because the mitigation is mean I need to have a very effective way to communicate with the other person or the command center to mitigate the emergency situation or the case or the cases in the field. And the third thing is about the response. At this stage, normally you need to have a very good communication with the command center and to do some dispatching and to restore the things for the to have some communication with the backend server. So to help you to handle the case. And the last thing is about the restore, right? So the restore, it also means the retrospective to look at the recording things at the afterwards to find some more clues for the cases. So all of these steps is divided into two categories. One category is about the recording facts, because the facts and especially the footage and the videos is the most important thing we need to take care of. And the other things is about the communication, okay, at the right side. So you realize that the PTT communication is a must, and visualize the dispatching also is a must. And you also need to know exactly what's the officer, where it is the officer, and what's the where is this emergency case is happening, this kind of informations. So basically, we will focus on how we do the communication and how we recording of these facts and do the evidence management. Okay. So this is the first part about the overview, and then we go to take a deep look at what's exactly the Hytera's BWC terminal can offer, and what's the backend platform. As we mentioned before, it's about the instant communication platform and also the evidence management platform. So for these slides, actually we can imagine the daily work of the officers. So for example, from the morning, the officers will go to the office and take their devices with them and to do their routine law enforcement actions in the street. For example, issuing the tickets, or to settle down some of the discords or the confrontations in the streets. And at this time, all of these events, or let's say the law enforcement event, has been captured and recorded by our device. Okay, and then if they have some needs, they can to instantly set up the communication with the command center, and it will have the live streaming sent back to the command center, and we can talk with the command center to ask for more help or more support from them. And then when all of the issues has been handled and it's already 1 day's work is off, so the officer will go back to the police stations and put the device back into the data collection unit, and this data collection will automatically upload all of the evidence, and then it will automatically stored in the what we call is the evidence collection computer, and it will record all of things for the future inspections. Okay, so this is like a workflow for 1 day's routine work of the police officer. And then we are going to look at what exactly we can offer with the our BWC portfolio. So basically, we have two kinds of the models. One kind is the non-LTE model. So with this models, you don't have any 4G connections, and so but at the same time, we are talking about that also the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth is also enabled or an option for our devices. And the other models, like the LTE model, this is the recommended one, which we are suggested for the office to carry out in the street, because you have the 4G connections and you have plenty of ways to communicate with the backend server or backend command center. Okay, so this is the two type. And because we have these four types, more or less it's had the same functionalities and features, but of course you can see the size or dimension is quite different. And also for the lens parameters, some of the parameters is quite different, because I think we don't have very long time to discuss every details of the devices here. So we will focus only on the VM780. Okay, so this is our the right corner, the right down corner. This VM780 is our star products, and all of our discussions will be based on these products. And then we can see about the layout here. Okay, so I think you can also see my camera here, right? So I will show you about the devices here. You can see now I am holding one of the devices here. So here you can see we have a rotatable lens, right? And then at the side of the okay, here we have a very big screen, and we have about I think it's 2.5 inch about the color displayer, and it can be touched. And also we have a lot of buttons on the side. We have the push to talk button. Switched on of the video recording switch, so it will have the prompt video recording started. So it's very loud and easy for the police officer to recognize. And then when you switched off, and the other things, I think here we can show you. It's about the, for example, the button here. For example, we press the button. Audio recording started. Of this audio, and it will show about the audio recording started, right? And then we long press audio this. Long press the audio finish button, and also we have the picture here. Okay, and beside this, we have this emergency button on the other side. And then when you push this button for a long time, I mean long press, so you can see actually the recording has been automatically started. And at the same time, you have, if you are combined with the platform at the back end, it will show up like the alarm information with the lights and also the sound to inform the dispatcher that alarm has been triggered in the field. Okay, so this is about the buttons. And one more thing I want to introduce here is about, for example, when we start the recording, because sometimes we think the video is very important, so we need to have some method to tag the video. So we press this audio recording button, but at this time it's like the tag functionalities. It enables the little icon here. So this video clip will be marked as a tagged version, a tagged footage here. So which is mean it has a high importance of this video or footage. Okay.
No recording finished.
So this is about the demonstration of our device. And then you might ask what's exactly the features that Hytera have, which is distinctive us from the other vendors. So we want to say the following thing. So the first thing is that we want you to understand there are one theory about 21-foot range. So this is a study report showing that the 21-foot range is the safe distance between the officer and the suspect. Because when the officer is finding some, some very dangerous things, he need to have 2.5 seconds to react. What he will do in this action time, he will pull out the side alarms and aim at the suspect and to shoot his gunfire for twice. So all of these actions, they need to have 2.5 seconds to do the action. So this is the safe distance between the suspects and officers. So understand of this premise, so we will know that our body-worn camera need to have to capture the events in these 2.5 seconds, which is mean about 7 to 10 meters. Okay, so this is mean that we need to capture a detailed video of the suspect or anything which is doubtable in the distance of 7 to 10 meters. And of course, when you have the suspect is running very close to you, and you need to also to recording the facts. So this is mean that we first of all we need to identify the objects of this 10 by 5 centimeter size, and we need to have the image stabilization, because the officer is always moving and he need to have the image stabilization so to have a very good effects video clips. At the same time, because when we have a wider view, which is mean the FOV is wider, it can help us to record more facts. Okay, so this is some pictures to give you some idea that what's exactly the features we are distinct Hytera from the other vendors. So the first thing is about the image in the distance about 7 to 10 meters. So here we have some pictures comparison of the other vendors and our VM780. So you can see from here that the 10 meters, actually our image is much more clear or sharp than the other vendors. Okay. So this is about the first thing about the clearness of the picture. And the second thing is about the FOV. Because as we know, normally with our cell phone, it's like the FOV, the field of view can only have a maximum about 100 degrees. So normally in this 100 degrees of FOV, it will only show part or partial of the facts, right? For example, this picture is missing one of the important thing, like the stone in this rebellions or the riots hands. So you can see actually we are missing the information here. But with the FOV like a diagonal 116 degrees, you can have a complete evidence of what exactly this man is holding and what he's trying to do there. So this is very important because more FOV means more facts here. And the second thing is about the video stabilizations. So what we can see here is one video, right? So this is the running thing, running the scenario. So you can see the running scenario and the walking scenario with this gyroscope in our VM780 and also the embedded video optimized stabilization algorithm to build inside, you have much more better stable video for you to record here. So this is very important, especially for the officers in the streets. So you need to have a more stable video to help you to have more clear evidence for the future usage. And then we can see about some of the other distinctive features here. For example, the rotatable lens. So altogether, we can have about 216 degrees of the rotatable lens here. So this is mean, actually, for example, if you have a higher building or some floors which is very high floor here, you cannot get the picture very clearly. You don't need to adjust your postures. You can just rotate about your camera or lenses here, and you can get clear view of the up floors here, right? So this is help us our officers to record things. And then there is another features that we can bring. For example, because we have altogether it's about 216 degrees. So this is mean that our cameras or our, let's say our screen here can face, okay, sorry.哎，现在暂停了吗？ Sorry. 我是不是暂停了呀？ So I think now you can see my slides. 能看到吗？ Okay, so we can continue now. Sorry for the interruption. So actually here you can see because our lens can be rotatable and you can have easily our screen can be facing front or facing back. So facing back, which is mean to reduce the potential conflicts, because sometimes the person will be irritated if they are feeling they are filmed or pictured, so they will feel very uneasy. So this is one method to help them calm down. Okay, and the other thing is to facing front, because when you're facing front, this is mean that I'm the law enforcement officer, and I want you to action politely, right? So this is one means to deterrent against aggressive behavior. Okay. And the other thing is here, like the night vision, because we understand there was lots of circumstances that we are using in the nighttime, especially in some of the club area, and you don't have a very good illustration of there. So you need to have the infrared vision, right? Using the infrared, because what we introduced just now, we can see in our device, we have 6 lamps of the infrared lamp at the top of here, okay? And it will automatically switch to the infrared mode if the illustration is less than 10 lux. But if it's more than 100 lux, it will shut off the infrared mode, turn back to the normal mode. So this is automatically done by the device. You don't need to manually switch by the officer. So this is very convenient when the officer is using the nighttime. And one more detail we want to share with you is about the pre-recording and post-recording thing. Because normally, later on, we will have more content to explain this. Because the officers, normally they will only start to recording the things which is according to their benefits, right? Sometimes because maybe it's not all of the officer they will have a very justified cause to use the cameras. So they want to have owning the things they want to capture. But our body wear camera have the mechanism to build inside to have the pre-recording to actively to help us to recording the things previously 30 seconds or the afterwards 30 seconds, even if you switch off the device. So this is mean that more facts has already can be recorded. And so this is very helpful when we present this to the court as legal evidence, because you need to understand the whole process, not just a partial of the evidence, only to only to benefits maybe one or the other persons, right? So you need to have a full understanding of the events. So the pre-recording we can set to 30 seconds or 15 seconds, and the post-recording can also be set to this 30 or 15 seconds to help us to get integrity of the facts. And the other one last thing we want to mention is about the battery life. So basically we have the test report that show us about 9 hours we can continue this shooting with our VM780 because we have 3,500 milliampere hours batteries here. So actually it can have 9 hours continuous video shooting. So this is one of our distinctive advantage of the other vendors. And also it has the fast charging capability with the 2N power adapter. And okay, the last thing here is about the ruggedized design, and we have passed a lot of standards like we have the compliance with the military USA standards of this 810G, and we also have the ingression protection level of this IP68 rated, and we can withstand the 2 meters drop resistance with a belt clip. Okay, after all of the explanation about our distinctive, we now have the specifications. So I will not read all of this to you, and hopefully you can download the brochures from our website, and you can see about all of these parameters and what's the capability. For example, we have the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth capability, and we can also have the connections with our let's say our radios. For example, the remote speaker mode is using the wireless or the wireline. It can be one of the options with our bodywell cameras. And then this is about another slim one of the 4G type, right? So you have a better size and you have a better weight here. But of course, you cannot rotate of your lens. And here we have another distinctive advantage or features, because we have this internally backup battery. It's like a button-like. It's like a button-sized battery, and help you even if the battery has been disassembled from this device, it can have another 5 minutes of the video recording. Still can have the video recording for another 5 minutes. So this is very important because the officer in the field, normally when they change the battery, maybe they have very important things to record. They do not want to lose any recording of the current events, right? So when they change the battery, it will still continuously to work with the new attached battery. And the other is about our non-4G models, and hopefully that you can find this on our website, and we will pass this very quickly. And this is another model, because for the 4G type we have one device is the lens is not rotatable here, but we have a screen, and the other one is we have the rotatable lens, and we have a bigger screen, and also we have all of the features listed here, like the battery time, like what's the capability. For example, the NFC, for example, here is no, but in the previous with our 4G models, normally the NFC is kind of common options in our 4G models. Okay, and after explaining about our terminals, now we go to the accessory parts, and you can see actually we are providing a standard package of the accessories like the belt clip, the Li-ion battery, and also the power adapters and the USB cables. And with the option parts, because normally you will use lots of pieces of device in the police station, you need to have a multi-unit charger. And in the field, maybe you need to have an earphone there. So we can provide the optional accessories for our BWC device. And we have an overview of the accessories. So at this page, you can see actually we put lots of the accessories of the standard. For example, the VM780 is the belt clip is different than the VM680, right? So this is the belt clip for different kind of device, and this is the batteries for different kind of device. And we also, the adapters is a little bit different. So we have different names for different device. And also the things is different of the multi-unit charger, because the interface is different of the VM780 and the VM680, right? So, and also for the VM580, it has another type. We didn't put the picture here, but hopefully that you can understand that in the multi-unit charger we have developed the multi-unit, and also the single unit charger is also available for all our devices. Okay, so this is about our solutions first part, and then we go to the second section in the second part about the command and dispatching thing. As we mentioned before, here we need to have a very effective way to do the instant communication over the 4G or Wi-Fi network, right? So you need to have a PD button, and at the same time you need to have a backend platform to do the commanding and dispatching work. So first of all, you need to have this button with the devices. And then, because when we are mentioning about the sound features, so the first is the speak, and the other thing is about hear, right? So when you speak, you do not want to combine with the background noise, and when you want to hear, you do not want to hear the noise from the other side. So this is the speaker that we can provide. We have two 1.0 watts audio power speaker, and it can reach about 100 dB loudness. So with the noise reduction algorithm to build inside with the microphone, which is like a 2 microphone inside to have the noise cancellation. So you will pass your voice very clearly to the other part, even if you are in the very noisy environments. So this is about the voice communication, and of course we need to understand the locations of our officer, and we want to have visualized the dispatching with our command centers. So this is one picture to show you the concept, how we to manage the equipment like a tree equipment management view here. And we can have the device distributing the map, and we can click each icon to start talk or start to pull up the video or to send the command to the other devices by this visualized dispatching. So it's very convenient because it's like a map. It's like a map-based dispatching tool here. And then, because we understand that our officer normally is doing their routine work in the streets, and normally we can, what we call is visualized dispatching. Beside that, we need to have the route planning. This is mean that to understand sometimes of the legal department, maybe they are not supposed to be immersed in this area, so you need to have this geofencing for them to restrict the region that the officers is supposed to appear. Okay, so and we can also to do the patrol routing planning for the officer, so to make sure that he will follow his work routing route in this scenario. If he has some violation of the route, it will automatically trigger the alarm, right? So this is very useful, especially in some cases in our Asian countries, right? Because we know there are lots of police officers is receiving the money on the table. So this is one way to help us to restrict their behavior, to do the patrol route planning, and to do the geofencing with the device. And later on, we'll have more case to talk about this. And one last interesting thing is about the facial recognition. And actually, you can see here, we have listed the procedure here. So this is one of the ideal face recognition alarming functionalities for our officers. So when you using this device with the officer in the streets, it capture all of the real-time video and the real image, and then when it's capture the face of the people, right? It has many faces while you carrying your law enforcement action in the streets, and then it transmits the video and image to the center, and this center will automatically using the AI power at the back end to compare with the suspect database, and it will search and inquiry about the database and compare the images of there. So when they found some matchings of this person with a suspect, or it's like a criminal database, it will trigger alarm immediately and send alarm information to the officer. So this is like a scenario of the face recognition in the field practice of the officer. And then we are going to look at of Hytera's mechanism to build with this face recognition solutions. So one thing we call this like the front end face recognition. So in this scenario, the information, or this is 1,000 picture, which is about the suspect or the things or the persons which we want to want the device to give us alarm information. So we will first send this 1,000 pictures into this device. Okay, so this is mean that this 1,000 picture or this 1,000 faces has already been stored into this small device, and we will when we capture anything in the streets, it will dynamically compare to this 1,000 picture, and if it found matches, it will trigger the alarm automatically by itself. This is what we call the front-end face recognition solution. Okay, so this is one part of the face recognition applications, and the other part is to have the face recognition with the server. So basically, we will have two modes. One is the live video streaming, right? For example, while the officer is carrying this device into the streets, and they will send up or pull up the real-time video streaming on the streets. So when this video streaming is put back to the backend server, right here, and it will immediately analysis by the AI power inside. So when it find the matchings of the suspects, because previously we have the front end solution, that is about 1,000 pieces, 1,000 faces, right? But with the server, we can have 1 million, or even 5 million, or even 10 million suspects in our database. But of course, I think you don't have so much. But this is much more powerful when you think about the backend server, right? So it can handle the AI algorithm more gracefully with our servers. And so this is called the live streaming face recognitions mode. And another mode is called the offline video picture analysis mode, because we have so many video clips and we want to analysis offline. So this can also help us to do the offline analysis. And what we call the online capture picture. So this part is what we mentioned in the first scenario, right? So this is still in progress, but I think it will come out very soon. I think that this year it will have the online capture. What we call is a live streaming capture, and it will have the very good practice with officers in the streets. So this is what's our anticipations and our solutions with the face recognition, not only with the front-end device, but also with the back-end server. We can have this kind of implementing ways. Okay, and previously we have talked about the device, and we talk about the command and dispatching platform, and now we go to the evidence and device management solutions. So which is to talk about how we to manage the evidence and devices. As we understand, the most important thing is the footage with the device, right? So, but if you're talking about one device, maybe it's very easier. You can do it manually. You can download it from our PC. But of course, this is not permissible, especially for the police scenario. But actually, well, it's very easy to handle if you are talking about one device. But if you are talking about thousands of devices or even 10,000 of devices, you need to have an automatic way. For example, you have the multi-unit charger here and connecting to one PC. And this PC, we have installed our integrated device stations, which is our collection software. And then we have a backend centralized evidence management server here of the DM, right? The DM can handle the centralized footage. So we have this kind of wild data collection, and we can also to use our Android box inside these integrated cabinets to do the data connections. Sorry for the interrupt. Okay, and then we can see actually we have this IDS. So this is one element we need to explain. And the other thing is about the DM, the digital evidence management, which is the centralized management server. So first thing we want to look at, want you to look at of the IDS UI. Here we have a lot of pictures here. So the first thing I want you to take a look at is the up right corner here. So first we need to have the authorization of the device or authentication of the device. So you need to register about your device here, right, for you to use in the IDS. And then when it's registered, it will have automatically data collections. For example, the BWC device will automatically upload all of its devices, all of its evidence or the footage into the IDS. And when it's finally be done, it can be reviewed from this IDS client. So you have a very convenient way. For example, how many pieces of the evidence can be shown here, and what's about the abstract, and you can do a lot of operations like to mark this as evidence, important evidence, or not important. So all of this content can be the marked information can be added here. Okay, and then because our IDS need to communicate with the DM to upload the important evidence, so you need to have settings of the DM server and to upload all the things which is you think is important. And at the same time, we need to have the log search or export clear functionalities to help us understand what the operators has been done with this machine and who has done what, right? So here is a log management functionalities with this IDS software. So this is the basic level, and we have a centralized level of this digital evidence management platform. So in this part, you have more functionality to use here. Here we just put a very simple pictures because it's quite complicated. I don't think it's wise to explain all of the features here. So we just give you some pictures, and the most important thing is here we want to show you is about the, for example, it's about the statistics or report functionalities of this the DM platform. For example, how many photos, how many videos, and how many audios has been captured with our DM platform, right? And also the picture and also all of these videos is belonging to one or one officer and belongs to one organizations, right? So you need to manage your privilege with officers and the different organizations very carefully. So everybody, not everybody can accept to your evidence, right? So this is a very important part of the roles or users management. And of course, you can download, you can preview the footage here. So you can use this one to help you to manage all of the evidence content. So this is a centralized platform for us to use. And especially it's very useful if you have thousands of devices. So this is this centralized platform is very useful while you have massive deployments of your BWC cameras. So after understanding that we have the data collection platform, because we have DM, we have IDS, and now we can see some of the some of the time about its consuming, how many time it need to do the data uploading, and how many time we need to have the charging of the batteries. So here we have some figures for you to share. So basically, to say safely that if you are talking about using our multi-unit charger, you need to have 80 minutes of all of these 6 pieces of BWC to upload of the data. Okay, so it's like 2 hours, sorry, 1 hours and a half to upload the content or footage into the IDS or the DM. And then we're talking about the charging, right? Because the charging normally is the very time consumable. So for this 3,500 milliampere hours battery, it needs to have 3.5 hours to do the charging. Okay. So this is about adapter charging, but we also have sometimes listed here with the Docker, because when using the Docker, which is mean a lot of devices or the batteries has been put here. So it means that to have more time while you do the charging. So you can, based on this table, you can manage your work shift very carefully, because maybe the device has been shared between different shifts of the officers, and you can use the presumptions like 5 or less than 5. Let's say 4 hours. All of the evidence and the battery can be charged to full for one shift. So you can use the 4 hours to do your shift planning. So this we want also to mention that all of the steps of the data collection is automatically. This is mean that you put the device into the slot and it will automatically collecting the device. And then this machine has been emptied and the device can be reused again. So one last thing we want to share about the features of Hytera, because we are supposed to have this security of the information, especially your evidence or the footage has been presented to the court as evidence. So you need to have the CIA rules, which is mean the confidential, the integrity, and also the availability, right? So this is mean that the first of all, confidential, how we do that. So we use the password, we use the stamp. I mean, we have a timestamp, user ID stamp, and the GPS stamp. All is enclosed in the like a watermark in our videos. Okay, and at the same time we have the AES-256 encryption. So this means that all of things has been encrypted unless I give you the password, or else you cannot breaks our rules or breaks into our system. And also we have this password to protect our evidence from leakage. So altogether, I think we are promise our end users unbreakable data security for the field, especially for our forensic things. And the one last thing we want to share is about the MDM. So this is mean that when you to do the firmware management, for example, you do the upgrading of your device, you need to have a batch upgrading capability. At the same time, you do not want to have all of the applications. You must have control, because you do not want to officers to use as entertainment tool, right? So you need to have application control here. And also we can to do the peripheral control, like we can enable the Wi-Fi, we can enable the Wi-Fi's whitelist or blacklist things. This kind of things can be enabled from our batch programming to the devices. So this is So I think this is all about our our devices and the platforms. And then for the third part, here we want to share with you some cases that we have done for our customer in the global wide. So this is the first case. Actually, we done it for the Central Asian country. I think this is already published on our website, and I think okay, I will just hide the information of the countries, but we can share some more details. So in this Asian country, because we have some background the investigation, and we know these countries policeman's office, these officers, they have very poor salary. For example, they have 200 US dollars for just 1 month, right? So how do people make money? So these people will make lots of on the table receive the money from, for example, violation of the police rules. For example, the traffic rules, if you violate it, I will just collect some money by myself. So this is the way for them to increase their income. So this is in this country, it has a lot of bribery happening in the police. And here we have a lot of law enforcement actions to include of this violence, because you can see here, actually the people has been hurt very much by the police officers, and the police officers is holding express to explain about the things. Right? So this is mean that it has a lot of violence used in the law enforcement action in this country, and we have a lot of bribery. I mean, when they have the the violation of the traffic rules or some other things, the police will handle the money into his own pockets. So the people, because they are poor, they find any possibilities to do the income increasement for themselves. So, for example, they do the entrapment to check if you have something at the back of the car, and to collect the money from you. If you give them money and they just go away, if you don't give, they will have lots of reasons to retain your vehicles. So this is the common situation in this country. So in 2019, at the beginning of 2019, so they passed action to enable to let the police officers to use the body wear cameras to increase the accountabilities and the law enforcement transparencies, and to increase the trust between the government and the citizens, right? So while you're using this kind of device, actually it has a later report to show about the criminal happens rate has been dropped about 20% in just 1 year. So this is like a big achievement in the government officer when they are using our Hytera BWC solutions to prevent the violence, prevent the bribery, and to prevent the implied use of the police force in this kind of entrapment, right? And here we can see actually what we provided here is our VM750. The first thing you can see here, we have do a lot of customization in this device, because we do not want them, because previously we explained about the pre-recording and also the post-recording. So and this time we aggregate this idea. we even don't have a screen. We don't have a power off button or power on button. So the device has been put into use as soon as it been as soon as it has been taken off from the charger, right? So when it take off from the charger, it will automatically put into use. So this is the first customizations we want to mention. And we can see actually about the other things we have done about the customizations with our clients in the Middle Asian countries. So the first thing that's about the FOV, because previously we talked about the VM780 is 116, right? Now it's 160. So we customize this of the camera of 160 of the FOV here to enable the camera have more contents here. The second thing is about the large capacity batteries. So 9 hours should be enough for them to carry out their routine work in the daily law enforcement actions. And we have built inside lots of alarm functionalities. For example, the video blind alarm. So when the hand is before the video or something is blinded the lenses, it will trigger alarm immediately to the command center. And then it has another alarm functionalities like the man down alarm. So when the police officer is has been laid down for some very dangerous reason, and the device will trigger the alarm immediately if it has been laid down of the man down alarm here. And the third alarm is about the disassembly alarm, because maybe the officer, they do not want the device to work, so they will potentially destroy the device or disassemble the battery. They will claim the battery has run out of power things. So it will have the disassembly alarm. So actually this battery is fixed by the screw here in the device. Okay. So this is about our customizations for this client in the Middle Asian countries. And then we can see actually what we have done in the solution part, because we talked to you. The first thing is about the dispatching, because we find out the police, they want to make money. How they do that? So they will do the cross-region law enforcement action. For example, if their region is like this area, they go to the other area and to do the bribery or the illegal collection of the money in this area. So with our route planning tool or our geofencing tool, with our VM750 and also the backend platform, so we will prevent this kind of things to happen. So this is our route planning and geofencing functions, which help them to cut down about the illegal behavior of bribery and illegal behavior of the collecting money things with the officer. And the second thing is about the evidence automatical collection. So this means that all of this evidence is collecting by untended mode, right? So all of the evidence can be through our collection box, I mean the IDS, and then goes to our centralized digital evidence platform. And all of this evidence is effectively controlled and owned by the police officer and its director. So none of the officers have the capability to access this system unless they give the privilege. So this is very useful when put this device into the field of use, because for example, or let's imagine the things. Previously, they can do the things at will because they can stop somebody in the streets at their convenience and they collect money. But when they carry this device, so it's like carry a mobile CCTV with them. So everything and every voice has been recorded during their law enforcement actions. So they do not dare to do the illegal collection of the money and do the bribery things again. And this will help their government to set up a very trustable image before the public. And at the same time, the police officer's image has been greatly improved because also this device has this device record all of the evidence which is happening during the law enforcement actions, and also protect the officers from the potential harm or some aggressive actions by the suspect, right? So this is the stories behind of these Middle Asia countries, and altogether we sold about 6,000 pieces of this device in this country. And then to talk about another cases in China. And here you can see actually this we provided to the city management and to the traffic police in the Shanghai city. And altogether, we supposed to provide already more than 10,000 pieces of the VM780 plus the Smart Eye platform in 2018. And we provided this as RSM, the remote speaker mode with the PMR videos, and you can use it for 9 hours continuous walk in the streets. And it's actually, we get a very good feedback from the city police, especially the traffic police there in Shanghai. And we have also other scenarios, like in one of the Asian country, and we use it for the video sharing between the workers of the electrical power company, because as we know that the grid or the electrical power network is quite complicated, especially when you do something do some complicated operations. You need to follow in your procedures very strictly. So they need to capture all of the evidence, like evidence for future use, and sometimes they will need to handle very complicated problems with the backend aspects, right? So they can use this one to, for example, they put at the bottom of this tower and rotate our lens to picture the workers which is doing their work and to doing the operations here. So if they have a more complicated operation, they can use this one to capture this, capture the videos and send back to the center and ask for the help from the expert. So altogether, I think we have already sold about 1,000 pieces in these Asian countries with the electrical power company. And one last case we want to show with you is the security firms, because they are doing the patrolling or security or guarding works in the entertainment area. For example, the pub, and the red light area, right? So in this kind of KTV or this pub area, normally it has a lot of conflicts normally. So this security firm, security guys will carry this device and to maintain the orders in this entertainment area. But one of the interesting facts we want to share with you is that previously we know there are lots of CCTV already put up there, but the CCTV has uh, they don't have so much deterrence effect with the confrontations or the quarrels in this region, because the people just ignore the fixed camera of there. But when the people is carrying the mobile device, they said normally the people for example, in the pub or in this kind of KTV area, they will action more politely. So this is helping them a lot when they are confront with this camera, and when they carry this camera, and the people will know somebody is picturing this, and it's like a body wear camera. They will realize maybe this is not proper to action very wildly. So they will calm down and to do the things more politely. So these security firms has purchased about 1,000 pieces from Hytera in 2020. So this is the newest case that we have so far in the European country. Okay, so I think we have already done our presentations, and just to make a quick summary, and we have a review about the background, about the market developments, and also our understanding of the technology development of the BWC products. And then we look back in deep in our solutions and to study about our devices. For example, we have 4G model, we have non-4G model, and we have also backend dispatching platform to help us to do the PTT communications in the group, right? And we also to have IDS and the DM, which is doing the collections of the evidence and the footage automatically. And at last, we share with you some of the cases in one of the Middle Asian country, and in one of the energy company, and in one of the security firms, and also in China. We understand the BWC actually is a market developing very fast, and hopefully with our Hytera's BWC device, let's together to make the bright and clear future ahead. Okay, so I think that's all, and you are welcome to have the question here, and we will be glad to answer to you.然后你们看。应该梁永辉都有答吧？我先把 Uh, Hello. So now I think you can hear me, right? So I want to thank you for your attention or attendance with us of the Hytera BWC solutions. So I think I can pick some of the questions here. There is one question from Mr. Bruno Minopoli. So he said, is it possible to send the image also to the CCTV system? So I want to answer to you that is yes, not an image, but normally it's about the video. We are talking about the interconnections of our device directly to the, for example, the other person's CCTV system to pull up the videos directly into their system by the on-with protocol. Okay, so this is the answers. We can do the interconnections with the other vendors' CCTV platform as long as it supports on-with protocol. I think there are lots of questions coming, and here I pick one more or another two more. So the one question is bring up by Vinis Morley. So he is asking what's the latency of the BWC considering it work on Wi-Fi or 4G LTE network. So this is depends on the network latency. So we cannot ensure about the, for example, you have no latencies at all. But I think normally we have some, optimized algorithm built inside to help us lower down about the latency. So if you are talking about latency, you need to first uh, to study about what's exactly the latency right now within your network. For example, maybe the 4G, it has 10 milliseconds, so our will have the processing, I think is another 10 milliseconds. To add together is 20 milliseconds, okay? So I pick another question here, and I think this question is coming from Agu Chukwi Mecca. And thanks for your question. And your question is, with the installed Hytalk, can I talk directly from the PTT button on the VM? So yes, you can. Actually, for our Hytalk installed in the machine, we use this PTT button is normally to initiate the group call with our system. Okay, so all of the group members, when you press this PTT button, you will hear the voice immediately in the group. Okay, so this is the answer for your questions. I think I can pick one more. So here we have a question coming from Akitundis Seliki. Is the memory expandable using a memory card? So I should tell you that normally this is not achievable by our device because when you get the products from Hytera, the memory is fixed inside of the device. For example, you have the 32 GB version and the gigabytes version, and you have 64 gigabytes version. So this memory card can be only disassembled with the screw. So normally we think it's cannot be expandable with the memory card. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, and appreciate your time with us. And hopefully later on you can get more information from our website. And you're welcome to leave your message and leave your ideas to share with us. And thank you again.